Hello and welcome. Today we are diving into one of the most incredible stories ever told, Plato's Timaeus. Now, this isn't just a simple creation myth. Oh no. It is a breathtakingly detailed blueprint for the entire cosmos, a story about how a divine craftsman took chaos and turned it into a single, living, intelligent universe. So, to really wrap our heads around this vision, we're just going to follow the path that Plato himself laid out for us. We'll start with the two fundamental ways of thinking about reality. We'll meet the divine craftsman, and then we'll get to watch as he builds the soul of the world, then its physical body, and finally, us. All right, so where does this all begin? Well, Timaeus, who's the main speaker in this dialogue, he doesn't just start with in the beginning. He kicks things off with a really deep question, one that splits all of reality in two and sets the stage for everything that's about to happen. What this question does is it forces you to think about two totally different kinds of existence. You have one that's permanent, perfect, and never changes. And then you have another that's temporary, flawed, and is always, always changing. This one distinction, well, it's the bedrock of Plato's entire philosophy. And here they are, these two realms. On one side, you've got the world of being. This is the eternal, perfect reality of what Plato calls the forms, and you can only grasp it with your mind, with reason. And on the other side, there's the world of becoming. That's the physical world all around us, the one we see and touch, the one that's always in flux, always being born and dying away. Okay, so we have these two separate realities established, right? The perfect and the messy. So the big question is, who is it that takes the chaotic, physical world of becoming and gives it order? Who is the architect? Plato calls this figure the demiurge. And here's a super important point. The demiurge is not a god who creates the world out of thin air. Think of him more like a divine artist, a master craftsman who is fundamentally good and rational. His goal is to take the messy, pre-existing raw materials of the universe and shape them into something beautiful and orderly. And what does every good craftsman need? A blueprint, right? For the demiurge, that perfect blueprint is the world of forms. These are the flawless, eternal ideas of everything, the perfect version of an animal, the perfect sphere, the very idea of goodness itself. He looks to these perfect patterns to guide every single thing he does. So, following this blueprint, the demiurge creates the universe. But it's not a collection of different things. It's a single, unique being. He literally fashions it into a living creature, a perfect, self-sufficient sphere that holds all other life inside of it, needing absolutely nothing from the outside. Okay, and here's where things get really fascinating. Plato explains that before the physical body of the universe was built, the demiurge first crafted its soul. The soul is older, it's superior, and it's destined to be the ruler and guide of the body. Now, making this world soul isn't random at all. It's a masterpiece of reason and mathematics. The demiurge starts by mixing three fundamental ideas, then he divides that mixture up according to very specific harmonic ratios, and finally, he shapes the whole thing into two big intersecting circles. These two circles basically become the engine of the entire cosmos. The outer circle, which he calls the circle of the same, that represents eternal, unchanging reason. You can think of it as the motion of the fixed stars. The inner circle, the circle of the other, gets split into 7 bands for the sun, moon, and planets, and it represents the changing world of our senses and opinions. All right, so the soul of the universe is in place. It's humming along nicely. Now at last, the demiurge can build the physical body of the universe around it. And to do that, he has to bring order to the fundamental stuff of the cosmos. He starts with this third, kind of mysterious principle that Plato calls the receptacle. Now, what is it? Well, it's not a perfect form, but it's not a physical object yet either. Maybe the best way to picture it is as a kind of formless, invisible medium, like a cosmic canvas, just waiting to receive the imprint of the forms and give them a physical home. And this is just beautiful. To impose order on that canvas, the demiurge fashions the 4 elements, fire, air, water, and earth, out of these perfect geometric shapes, the Platonic solids. So fire is made of tiny, sharp tetrahedrons, which is why it can cut and burn. Earth is made of stable cubes, which is why it's so solid. In Plato's vision, the entire physical universe is built on the laws of geometry. So the great cosmic animal and its soul are now complete, but the job isn't quite done. The demiurge then turns to his assistants, the younger gods, and delegates one last, very important task. the creation of mortal creatures, including us. And you'll see that our souls are basically a tiny mirror of the entire cosmos. The demiurge himself creates our immortal, rational soul and places it in our head. Then the younger gods create our mortal soul, which has two parts. Emotions like courage and anger are put in the chest, while our basic appetites are put down in the stomach, keeping them safely away from our divine reason. And this cosmic design is literally reflected in our own anatomy. Our head, which houses our reason, is a sphere, in imitation of the perfect spherical universe. And the rest of our body? It's really just a vehicle, a chassis, designed to carry this divine command center around through the world. But why? Why this whole grand, epic story? What is the point of knowing all of this? Well, in this final section, Plato brings it all home and reveals the profound purpose behind his cosmology. It's a guide for how to live your life. Plato argues that our senses, especially our sight, were given to us for a reason that's so much bigger than just survival. We are meant to look it up at the heavens, not just to admire them, but to learn from their perfect, intelligent, predictable motion. So here it is, the crucial point. When we're born, the circles of our own souls are all chaotic and jumbled up. But by using our sight to study the perfect, rational, unchanging revolutions of the stars and planets, we can actually learn to correct the messy motions inside of ourselves. We can bring that divine harmony into our own souls. Philosophy, in a way, becomes the tool for restoring our own inner order. And that's the powerful idea that Plato leaves us with. We aren't just random specks of dust in a dead, mechanical universe. Not at all. We're tiny parts of a single, living, intelligent cosmos. And our whole purpose in life is to align our own reason with the greater reason of the world around us. It's a beautiful and incredibly thought-provoking blueprint for life itself.